The mystery of the virus. Have you ever wondered why computer viruses are called viruses? Do you think they got their name from biological viruses? It turns out that computer viruses are analogous to biological viruses that infect living cells because viruses are not independently capable of metabolism or reproduction. They must inject their DNA into cells and rely on their host cells to thrive, just like computer viruses rely on some program running on the computer to infect the computer's hard drive. Just as a computer virus piggybacks onto other software, biological viruses have a recombination process that allows them to evolutionarily sustain themselves. What exactly are viruses? Why are they so dangerous? Viruses are found on almost every material and environment on Earth. Outside of a host, viruses are inert and just microbial particles wandering aimlessly. Inside a host, they become small infectious agents. They have a small amount of genetic material that is encased in a protective protein called a capsid. Viruses can only replicate inside their host cells through recombination. A strain of DNA or RNA is broken from the virus's genome and then joined to the end of the host DNA or RNA molecule via homologous crossover. Mutations may ensue and lead to apoptosis or the host cell to produce proteins that may assemble new viruses. The budding viruses are released and may infect nearby cells, allowing this process to repeat. The authors of the paper we studied were interested in the way recombination creates new variant viruses that combat selective pressure and immune system responses of new hosts and environments. We'll apply Darwin's 4 postulates to explain the key evolutionary concepts presented in this paper. The first postulate is that individual species are variable. Intergenomic recombination of RNA and DNA creates genetic diversity. The bigger a population size, the higher co-circulation is in a geographical area, so there is a higher chance of recombination and variance. For example, HIV is highly prevalent and co-infection is favored, creating more recombinant forms of HIV. The second postulate, some variation is passed on to offspring, is shown in this figure. It shows linkage disequilibrium, which is the non-random association of alleles at 2 or more loci that descend from single ancestral chromosomes. Low recombination correlates with more linkage disequilibrium, and high recombination correlates with less linkage disequilibrium. For instance, HIV presentation requires 2 different genomes, but once these genomes are brought together, replication becomes rampant and heritable. The third postulate, differential survival, applies here because recombined viruses are more stable due to maintained chromosomal integrity through recombination, which makes recombined viruses survive longer than non-recombined viruses. Figure 4 shows that there is a difference in resulting allele frequencies when starting with the same initial fitness of coexisting haplotypes, but different recombination rates. The higher the recombination rate, the higher the frequency of the new haplotypes. At this rate, the recombined viruses can replace the original virus. Linkage disequilibrium depends on time and population size for natural selection to work on mutation. Recombination also helps viruses escape Muller's ratchet. It reduces the loss of fit genomes and instead generates more fit viruses from less fit viruses. The fourth and final postulate says that individuals with more favorable adaptations are more likely to survive and reproduce. New viral strains are continuously generated through recombination. These new strains are hard to match to a vaccine and therefore preferentially survive and live to reproduce. For example, HIV's multiple mutations act synergistically to resist drugs like AZT and create more recombination, which continues to increase survivability and reproduction of HIV. So why is all of this information important? Viral recombination allows for the evolution of viral strains. For instance, HIV uses this to develop resistance to strong drugs like AZT. Different HIV variations are passed down through offspring, and only some strains who are resistant to AZT survive to reproduce. This process results in the continuation of the vaccine and virus arms race. Now back to the beginning. Computer programmers are working to fight computer viruses, while scientists are developing vaccines to fight off new biological viruses. Similar to how it is important for programmers to understand how new computer viruses are created, it is important for scientists to understand how viral recombination can lead to the evolution of different strains.
Created using Powtoon.